Good morning, everyone. Jerome Powell just finished his Jackson Hole speech talking about inflation and interest rates. And in my opinion, he pretty much said what I thought was expected. He didn't necessarily commit to a 25 basis point or 50 basis point interest rate cut because it seemed like he wanted to see more data. But however, he did say is that it's time for policy to adjust. Meaning that interest rates will be coming down. He couldn't commit to a move yet because he wants to see more jobs and inflationary data. However, his comments about the job market were pretty encouraging. He said that there's signs that the labor market is cooling and that the labor market isn't necessarily adding to inflationary pressures anymore, and that the Fed doesn't want to see the labor market cool anymore. That's really bullish because they're watching their labor market part of the dual mandate that the Federal Reserve is responsible for. So the fact that he was saying that and noting this paradigm shift of it's time for policy to adjust is very bullish, in my opinion. He didn't take question and answers. He didn't have a Q&A session. So I was a little surprised about that. But he did leave it vague whether or not it'll be a 25 or 50 basis point cut. Ultimately, that doesn't matter. The paradigm shift and the shift in tone is more important, in my opinion, and markets have surged across the board because of this news. This shows that the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell will be more friendly to markets in terms of more liquidity by cutting interest rates. 2 years ago in 2022, we had the opposite Jerome Powell, where Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve was only focused on the inflation part of their dual mandate, saying back 2 years ago that there would be more pain to come in order to bring down inflation, with interest rates rising very rapidly in 2022. And then 2023, Jerome Powell was kind of balanced in his Jackson Hole speech, saying that the inflation's still high, we're making progress, but there's more room to go. That was the theme of last year's Jackson Hole speech, and this year marks a paradigm shift. Jerome Powell also, he also spoke a little bit about the history of inflation over the last 4 years since the pandemic. And it was a little bit of a history lesson about, the supply chain disruptions combined with the Russian invasion of Ukraine, making inflation worse. And then the labor market being very strong in 2022. He was kind of saying led inflation to be worse. And then 2023, inflation started going, the rate of increase of inflation started going down. And the labor market was starting to be more in balance with pre-pandemic levels. And now it seems like Jerome Powell is confident at where we're at now. This is good news. It was almost like a victory lap without it being a victory lap. But either way, this is a paradigm shift for the Fed, and rate cuts are coming.